Morning, everybody. Welcome. Broward County Commissioner, Monday, December 14th. 10 days till Christmas, huh?
Alfie's getting harder and harder to find.
Is that right? Okay, public comment. Franklin.
Well, I think probably Montana a minute. Mine would be, the Toshin Bridge lights have been on now for, I think since Thanksgiving. Looks good, it's probably one of the nicest displays in the county.
Who pays the bill on that?
The people around there,
Do they?
they take donations and they do the work on it, so.
Huh.
Well, I'd just like to salute all the volunteers that put up those lights on the Toston Bridge that paid into the donation, but also around the county, those who do their own yards, but also their businesses and help with the communities.
And I'd have to agree and duplicate what you both said. Also like that they had made the Christmas trees lit up. And I think that is very, very festive. Community update any minute, there are any meetings this week?
I attended, Daphne had that Tetra Tech, that local preparedness mitigation public meeting, I attended that, attended the conservation meeting.
And what about conservation?
Well, basically saying, you know, they're busy, they've got these 310 permits keep them jumping quite a bit, that's probably the biggest thing. And then there are some reports and might be a report on the grants.
All right.
And
All right.
update,
I'm sorry.
I guess on the Toshin irrigation lining.
I also attended the LEPC meeting with the disaster mitigation plan. Youth Justice Council was this week, and that is a appointed board under the Montana Board of Crime Control. I also attended the Montana Board of Crime Control, and then the airport board. I think we have to add one more person to that board from the county side. So we'll work with Nicole on that, and it's about that time anyway, so.
I thought LAPC was this week.
It is this week. It's just we were doing the final public
Oh.
meeting for the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, this wasn't an LEPC meeting, this was the one Daphne put on for
Oh, okay.
public comment.
And if you count doctors, I've been there. Okay, let's do some mail. The hands are cold. A notice from Public Service Commission, and it's for City Cab and Big Sky and Beyond Transport in Bozeman. And Chinook Disposable Services. Anybody wants to read it, is more than welcome. From DEQ, City of Laurel, their wastewater treatments. Let's see.
I brought that up last week. It's just an email that helps explain those letters.
Oh, okay.
Those are the two loans from Intercap for the hospital district board. And what they want are some support letters from the county. And those are the two letters in front of you.
Okay. And a letter to the Board of Investments. Ms. Flynn, the Broward County Board of County Commissioners, realizes the importance of having a hospital in our local economy, school, families, and business climate. We have worked with our hospital for the good of our community and appreciate this opportunity to work with Intercap and Montana Board of Investments to secure a loan to help with building, upkeep, maintenance, and construction needs. The Board of County Commissioners agrees to pay This loan, if Broadwater Hospital District realizes the insufficient lease income from Montana Health Systems, Townsend Health Systems. We understand the annual sum may be around $18,000 annually. Thank you again for the opportunity. And another one is Glenn, Board of Investment. Broadwater County Commissioners realizes the importance of, I think it's word for word.
Almost, yes.
The only difference is the Board of County Commissioners agree to levy all voted for mills and continue to meet with and work with the Hospital District Board. Thanks again for your opportunity. And I would entertain a motion to send these.
I would move that we sign both letters of support for the Hospital District Board.
Franklin? I'll second the motion. Motion has been made and seconded to send 2 different letters to the Board of Investments of support for NCAP loans for the hospital. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same.
No, and I stated reasons last time on that, so.
We just stated them again, being as I wasn't here last time, I was out sick. So I know what's what.
Well, they were lumping them together. This time we see it as separate. And I have no problem with that mill levy. I mean, that's dumb. I mean, that's, I have no problem with that. I have questions of the other.
Can we help answer those since Jenny and Kyle are both here for an ex-board member for you today, Franklin?
Kyle or
Do you want me to, the second one's the one you have questions on, the intercap?
What are the questions?
Well, I'll explain what it is.
Well, it's a long drawn out thing, so I'm not gonna say. And like I say, that mill levy, I mean, that's, you're gonna get that, there's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. And the other piece is, so the $163,000, the second one is for building maintenance, which we've already put on a new roof, and so this is basically getting that money back and financing it. It has, because of intercap, has to go through a county, it has to go through the district board, so the loan has to be held with the district board, and the only way the district board can earn funds is either by paying rent or living mills, or one of the only ways. So we will pay rent on the county property, the county owns the land and building, essentially. So we pay rent to the Hospital District Board. This letter is in support of something, if for some reason 1 month we couldn't make the $1,400 payment of lease income, and there wasn't enough mills left over to make the payment, that somehow the county would step up and help if they needed to. It's very low risk. The likelihood that that's gonna happen is almost none. And there is enough money in the district hospital board at this point that they could, above and beyond the mills, that they could help make this payment if something happened.
Kyle, did you want to add something?
I just would really like specifically to know what the questions are.
Can you answer that?
How much rent are you paying a month?
It'll be about $1,480 a month.
14,000?
1,400.
4,000?
$1,400. The lease is set, the way the lease is written, we pay whatever the debt service is. So whatever the debt payment is the rate of is how much we pay in rent.
On what we loan.
So that way, there's no reason to transfer money to one or the other if it's not needed. So it's strictly to make this payment.
What other questions?
He's making notes.
And the understanding is then when any debt is paid off, that lease payment goes away unless there's something else or another loan that needs to be paid.
Everybody satisfied? Yay, no?
Is that the only question?
Yeah, at this time.
Did she answer it for you? $1,400 a month? Anything else? So I'm sorry, I want to make sure you would vote no against what?
I vote no against.
This motion for, can you give us a reason?
I'm not gonna get into any match now.
No, I'm not asking for a match, I'd just like to know what the reason is.
Well, I'm not gonna say no.
I, as an integral part of the economics and the patient care delivery of this facility, I think we need to know what it is you're concerned about so that we can address it.
Maybe you two could meet outside the commission meeting and sit down and talk this out.
Would you do that, Franklin? When can we do that?
I don't know yet.
No, I'm
We'll
serious.
figure out
I'd like to
something.
set a time and a date so that we can discuss it, because I know members of the board have asked to meet with you, they've called to meet with you, and they haven't yet. So I'd like a date and a time that we can meet.
I'll get back with you on the date.
No?
Come in.
Sorry to interrupt. Would Mr. Wright be able to sit here and then if he's disrupted, he would agree to leave if he's asked to leave? Is
That would be fine.
Fine with me, yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Cory. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Okay, from the Local Government Service Bureau, we have a bill for $267. It says late fee monthly financial report.
We had some business going on with setting up a meeting. Is that, I guess there's going to be no response from you,
I got it
Franklin, for
written
a
down here, I'll
citizen?
call Kyle and date and time.
Just so you know, my number is, let me write my number down, 218-260-7231.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Jenny.
What that is a long-standing issue, and maybe when Corey comes in to talk about the CBA, we can give that to him as well. It really is a legal matter, and we keep getting late fees, and it needs to be followed up and finished. It really is between the county attorney and the Department of Admin at this point. This is the issue where they had the new program they implemented. We had paid our auditor to go ahead and take care of that for us. Our auditor tried to work with them. This is an issue with several different counties. I understand Harold Blatty met with them. I don't know what was said. But the issue is the program never worked. It was needed for some kind of a legislative study. We can show that every effort was made by our auditors to turn in the information for Broadwater County. And it just was never accepted. And now we're getting late fees and have been for, well, almost a year now since the legislature was in session. And it really needs to be cleaned up. We need to be done with this, and it's kind of out of our hands at this point.
Well, I would recommend that we do not pay this until we get more information.
Absolutely second, it's kind of where we've been for a year.
Come on up, Brian.
Morning.
Good
Morning,
morning.
Brian.
What do you want to know?
When's it gonna warm up? Oh, I guess that's not very long.
Let me see, June.
Yeah.
Since I was here last, we've had a couple of equipment issues. We had a radiator problem on our excavator. We actually had a spare radiator around, so we just swapped it out. At the same time, we put a new water pump on it. Because it had been overheating, you know, even with blowing it out and that kind of thing, and it just kept overheating, so.
Did it have leak?
What we think it is we've been mixing water and antifreeze, you know, the 50-50 mix, and we've just been using the tap water at the transfer station, and that stuff is so hard you could walk on it,
Oh,
and I think using that just plugged the radiator up. So now we've got some distilled water that we used, or we're gonna buy premix antifreeze to run it.
you can buy that, like that?
Yeah, you can buy 50-50 mix. It's-
I had no idea.
is clean. But we think that was the biggest problem with it. It just, the core was plugged up again. So we'll take the one we pulled out, send it off and get it rebuilt, oiled out, cleaned up, and we'll have a spare again. Because those things they're getting harder to find. They're still around, but they're few and far between. So we'll try to keep one on hand.
Where'd you go to buy something like that?
The last one I found it online. Came out of Washington. And it was in pretty rough shape when we got it. But I took it, sent it to Billings and had it rebuilt. So it's a new radiator. So.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a place in Spokane that has all kinds of truck parts, equipment parts.
Yeah,
I can't think of the name of it.
I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. We, this was actually off of an old excavator, just like the one we had. And it came out of a warehouse in Washington, so they'd scrapped one out at one point. That radiator sitting there for us. They're not cheap. They're not cheap to get rebuilt either. It just happens once in a while. You gotta take care of them.
You don't have any choice.
No, we don't. It's easier to spend a few dollars on the radiator than just buy a new excavator.
Sure.
That's about all the major problems we've had. We've had a couple of little glitches here and there, but nothing that isn't too out of line. I've had a few phone calls from people asking about their solid waste fees on their tax bills. And a few, I mean just a couple. I mean, it's minuscule.
They'd never seen any there before?
Well, most of them they saw a jump in their taxes from previous years, and they were wondering why, and it was ones that had been overlooked on the solid waste fees for years. Once you explain that to them, they go, oh. And they're okay with it.
Good.
But for the most part, I think we're in pretty good shape on that front. There's, on the recycling side of things, commodity prices are extremely low. I had a quote for our metal pile the other day. The best he could give me was $50 a ton. And I said, well, we'll stockpile until it comes up. He said, well, it might be a while. I said, well, we got room. So we'll continue to stockpile that until the price comes up a little bit. And so we can actually make some money off our metal pile. Cardboard, the price is better for cardboard now than it has been. It's still not great. We've only got about a truckload sitting on the ground now, so we're not in too bad shape there. Plastics, there's an issue with mixed plastic. There's not much of a secondary market for mixed plastic. We've been able to haul it to Belgrade. They've taken it at no cost, which is good.
What is mixed plastic?
It's on the bottom of the plastic container, there's a little number in a triangle. Those numbers go from 1 to 7. Mixed plastic is 1 through 7. It can be anything in there. The market for mixed plastic is terrible. Nobody wants it. There's a secondary market for 1s and 2s. That's milk jugs, pop bottles, clear plastic bottles for the most part. Anything else, the 3 through 7 plastic, there's no market for. nobody wants it. It's not good to make more plastic out of the recycling side. It's, the folks in Belgrade, they've been packaging up mixed plastic, and they said basically what they're doing is giving it a 600-mile trip to a landfill, because they ship it to a facility that will sort it. They'll pull out any of the ones and twos that are left in it. The rest, they put in the landfill. So, what the solid waste board has looked at, and we've talked about it, is, I don't know if the only way it'll work is if we can get the citizens to separate it out for us, and they can just start putting their 3 through 7 plastic in the trash, or we'll continue to do what we do now, take it all in our building, put it in our compactor. When the compactor's full, we'll just landfill it, because it's cheaper than hauling it to Belgrade, really. And I think they're gonna start charging us to take 3 through 7 to Belgrade, because they don't have a market for it either. So, but it makes sense to continue to compact it and take all the plastic in one load, because we reduce the volume of it. It's not in with the regular trash plastic. We don't have a way to compact the plastic with the excavator. It just doesn't work very well. So even if we keep it separate, it's still easier than mixing it in with the trash stream. The tree pile is still there. We're waiting on them to come in and grind that up. I think the guy that grinds it up, his market for ground up hog fuel has gone away too, so he's looking for another market for that. I'm not sure why that didn't happen. If the place he was taking is shut down or what, I don't know. But it's one of those things that's out of our control, and we do have a pretty good sized pile of trees. But we'll get that taken care of when we can. Tires, we're in good shape with tires now. Got the road tire guys in the county taken care of. We've told them we want no part of their tire operation, and they need to go to Logan with their tires if they want to get rid of them, because I don't want them in my facilities. So that seemed to work out pretty well. And that's really the big items that we've been dealing with.
So, do you mean they take them to Logan, to the dumpster site there?
They go through the gate at the landfill and pay to get rid of them there, instead of throwing them in our canisters for free.
Is there any place in the state that takes them and can do something?
The state of Montana doesn't generate enough tires to justify a reclaiming operation. Everybody thinks there's a lot of money in tires, but there's not. It's not there. It doesn't pencil out.
Is that true too of that statewide group that would come in and set up?
DEQ has looked at, from the junk vehicle program, they get some surplus cash. And they've looked at contracting with it's a big shredder, and they would come to a facility and shred up tires. And then there is some market for that shredded product. But all DEQ would do is basically offset the mobilization cost for the shredding unit. And then each local facility would pick up the cost of running it at their place. So to run it at our facility, I don't know what it would take. It's a chunk of change that we probably don't want to spend, since we're licensed in Barry here, so
Okay.
we'll continue to do that.
Do they kind of work up through?
If you drive on them, they won't stay there unless you corner them. Then they don't work out. But if you just take the tire and throw it in the landfill, every time you drive on it, it works its way up a little bit. That's why they're such a pain. There is, Helena Industries has started a new venture for e-waste recycling, computers and that kind of stuff. And I've talked to the guy that is running that. He would like to set up a collection area here in Broadwater County. And I'm not on board with that completely. I think it's a good idea, but to have just a place where people can go and drop their electronics off at any time is not gonna be a good deal. It's gonna be a mess. Unless they can find a business in Townsend that is willing to collect it for them, it would probably work that way. But it would be a mess if they just said, well, we want to put it next to their clothes shed and have people drop stuff off there. I'm not gonna go for that. It would be a mess.
What do they want to do with them?
What their plan is to collect e-waste and then have the developmentally disabled people that are their clients at Helen Industries take that stuff apart and pull out the items that are worth value. None of the precious metals and that kind of thing, that they can separate out and ship off to secondary markets and make some money at it. So it's a good project. Again, I don't know if there's enough volume to make it work in this area. That's the key is when you're dealing with recyclables, it's gotta be volume. You need a lot of material to make any money.
It looks to me like Helen would be a better market for that.
Well, they're doing it there too, that's where they're based, but, you know, they want to expand their base to get as much product as they can. I think they may be down here this afternoon to talk about that, I don't know,
2:30.
but we'll see. I don't want to have to start monitoring an area for computer waste. People want to get rid of their computers, they can. You know, we could do it where we set up a one day a month or something like that, and they come down, and then people bring their stuff there, that would be fine. But to do it on an ongoing basis, like we do with our trash, it would be a picker's paradise. And a security nightmare.
One day a month could be a nice service, though.
Yeah,
Advertising.
if they brought their
on your
truck down
Facebook
once a month
page.
and
Yeah.
brought it in, that would work for me.
Yeah.
The less we have to handle, the better. Take the middleman out of the picture.
In all things.
Yes. We do have a couple openings on the solid waste board. Nicole is aware of that. She's going to advertise here shortly, I think. And I'll get the word out on our social media as well, that we're looking for people. So,
Who did we lose?
we've had one opening for quite some time. And then Carla Bossy, she's leaving town, so she came off the board. So we have a couple openings.
Are you hearing any rumors out there that people might be interested?
No. I haven't been beating the ground either to try to find them, so we'll start out the new year with one.
Start clean and fresh.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think I figured out a budget report on Black Mountain that I can understand. So
Good.
it makes me happy. I know where I'm sitting.
I'm glad.
And I'm glad.
Yeah.
That makes us all happy.
Still wondering where my cash account went to. I haven't been able to track that down yet, but.
And that's in a separate account.
Yeah, to get something that looks like it should. I haven't found that yet.
You keep digging, it'll be there.
I hope it's there somewhere.
And that's one of the, I don't know if you've been able to talk to Dave Morton, but I understand that's some of what kind of got lost in the transfer. Still there, just not in the paperwork yet.
Yeah,
And they've caught up, I think they're into this year.
it's hidden in cyberspace somewhere.
Exactly, yeah,
I don't know if cyberspace pays interest though.
yeah. Well, no, we still have the money, just doesn't show up on that, black and white.
Okay,
Yeah, they're working on it though, hopefully
Um,
soon.
any questions for me?
Well, of course, I heard that there was a guy in Radisburg that was quartering or breaking up these tires or something.
There is an operation out there. They've had some issues with DEQ. I don't know, I think it's been straightened out. But I still don't wanna, you know, they wanna be able to dispose of their tires for nothing, and I'm not gonna let that happen. If they wanna pay a price, we'll think about it, but
Is that what they're doing, they're quartering them? I heard
I
they're
don't know
chop
what
up
they're
is what I
doing.
heard, I don't know.
I think they've got a machine that quarters them. But I haven't dug into it because I don't wanna get involved. Because I think they're, like I said, there's no money in tires, and I don't care what you do, you're not gonna find it. The only way you're gonna make money is if you're cheating somebody out of it somewhere, and that's just not a good deal to get involved with. But they asked what our disposal cost was, and I told them, and I haven't seen anything from them, so. Let her work it.
Staff is going well.
Yeah, yeah. We're, everybody's getting along, so that's happy. That
It's
makes
just the
me
way we
happy.
like it.
That makes me happy.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
Not for me, no.
That's really I have.
Okay,
Thank you for coming by.
then I will go play in the snow.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thanks, Brian. There was a letter, this one here, I don't know if that's from Val or not, but it may be here.
It's your writing.
Okay.
Dear Commissioners, good morning. I would like to cancel my meeting with you this morning and ask that you look into a situation I am having with my budget, and then we can set a meeting for discussion. The past few years, I've had a line item of $399, rebudget of cash, dash, $22,268. This year, it is not included in my budget. I'm concerned with this matter, as that line item was there to cover unforeseen matters, such as overage of jury trials, involuntary commitments, and such. Our last trial cost about $3,500, in which the state will reimburse, but for that money goes back into the revenue, not my budget line item. We have several trials scheduled, and with great possibility of at least 2 more lengthy trials within the next 3 months. Thank you in advance. Please let me know if you have further questions regarding this matter. Sincerely, Valerie J. Horn, Clerk of Court. I'll give this to you, Deb.
I'm wondering if, after Debbie reads the letter, if we don't want to sit down with Doug and Peggy, if this is a Black Mountain issue, and maybe you conference call with Dave.
Okay,
Is that part of the Black Mountain issue, Debbie?
possibly, and possibly it, when it converted, that number didn't get in there from CSA, and so it was missed by everybody and budgeting. It's just a matter of an amendment and going adding it and making sure it's there. It's money they've carried forward from years, certain departments. It's not gone anywhere, it's there, it's just not showing in reports.
Any other departments having the same problem?
And I think most of them caught it before their budget stuff was done, and I kind of remember all talking about this, but then we never got back to it with reports and how much, so.
Well, I'm gonna call Dave Morton. He's been on, I've been back and forth on the phone.
Yeah.
I
And I
will-
know Doug's still been working on it. I don't know where they're at, they got a new gal working on it. I think she's making headway,
Randy or something like that.
yeah. So. But here's the thing, with not having access to CSA, I don't have any reports to go back and verify those amounts that they had when they converted. Which is something I wish we could still have at least read-only access to.
Yeah,
It just, it's gone. So I don't know if that's something maybe I could request send in a request, maybe maintenance be out of my budget or something, that I can get that and look at it. Should be helpful,
I would support that.
so.
And
I'll-
that's not gonna,
I'll
this
put in a
isn't gonna be
request.
the only situation that you wish, that you could look back and see.
No, there's days I die, because I can't look back. I know it was there in CSA, but in Black Mountain, can't find it, and so then, I start second guessing, was it, or am I having pipe dreams? So, it's just too many questions. Had read only would be nice.
Is that something you just need to call?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we just need to call and see what they'll do. Come back with a quote. I'm sure they'll wanna charge us, but
Well,
Find
what
my
did they do
budget
with it
somewhere.
after it was changed out here?
I don't know where it's at. They supposedly were supposed to have access, but I never heard or was asked if I could or couldn't, or what I would need. I don't know what they did with it.
Would you follow up on that? Check with CSA, see where it's at. What is it gonna take to be able to read only?
'Cause it would sure be nice. I mean, there's gotta be a way to access it. You can't print it all off and look at reports all the time. I mean, you'd need a bookcase full of reports, I think, to find everything you needed.
In a mountain of trees.
And it just doesn't make sense with today's technology.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you get back to them and then report back to us what's happening.
I'm wondering too if that isn't something we could get from Black Mountain, if they would have access to some of that old stuff from CSA as the,
Well, I think Jody does a conversion, but without being able to see what they pulled over at conversion, I don't know what they're working with.
right, they must have something, I would think.
And I
if we
think that's been
could-
part of the balancing issues is they told us to stop, but things didn't stop. We couldn't. There was just too many variables, and auditors make adjustments, and
I'd like to know if one, what the cost is to get this from CSA so that we have a budget number to work with, but also if we could get it from Black Mountain as part of the switchover. It seems to me it should be free. And maybe either from Dave, Elaine, and your relationship, or we call your contact.
because then I could compare.
You can't compare apples and oranges. And that's what
And
you're
not
trying
knowing
to
what
do
was
now.
there and seeing what was there, I can't verify if it's right or wrong. So, been wishing that all along. I think Melissa can, but I don't think she knows what to look for quite like I do. Different side.
Mhm.
You can't kick her out of her desk, or she'd be kicked out every day. So, that's not fair to her, so.
Check and see, and then I can commune with you, Dave Martin on the conference call.
Moving back
With
on the
Doug.
phone. Cause I know I had to work with Linda on her rebudgeted cash for bioterrorism.
Okay.
It's left over from year to year to year.
Mhm. Jeremy recorded to us a little bit of math.
And Debbie is here too for a department head issue.
Oh. At a certain time or what?
No, I just asked her to come out and talk to us directly.
Well, come on up, Deb. Sorry,
That's okay.
I thought you were here because of Val's question.
That's part of it. I know. No, you know, Tammy took a job over Extension, their secretary, so we're without an accounts payable clerk. So, she was only 32 hours, and that goes back to budget cuts that were done several years ago. She got to where she liked not having the full week, so trying to get her to go full-time, she really didn't do it, so we've never budgeted her for it. But now that she's gone and the job's open, I'd really like to have a full-time replacement. Part of that reason is so that they can be cross-trained in payroll as well. Payroll takes a good 4 days a week from beginning to end, sometimes more if there's problems. It's not giving me enough time that I need to really work on the finance side of things the way it needs to be. I always feel like it's a day late and a dollar short. Val's a good example. Things are getting missed because I'm trying to hurry and balance things. So I'd like to get your permission to hire a full-time person, 40 hours, and be able to train them, make them kind of like my position was in the beginning, people with accounts payable and payroll clerk. That way, we can kind of balance better. Tammy was taking about 2.5, 3 days a week with claims, depending on how many. Well, there would leave some room for payroll updates, up with some of the HR paperwork, that Michelle Fugari, copies of the new handbook that's coming out. It would help alleviate some of all that if both of us were working 40 hours.
Is the money in your budget?
I can find a way. With not having Tammy for a month, I could go run some numbers. It's just 1 extra day a week. But I could cut some of our expenditures if I needed to. Again, some more. And try to come up with some.
Makes sense to me. Franklin?
Well, I'm fine with getting somebody in there. I don't know about the 40 hours. But I'm not against you having help there, that's for sure.
I'll run some numbers and see if I can come up and get a concrete number. I haven't had time to do that. I just kind of, this all hit while I was on vacation, so I'm still kind of feeling in shock. Kind of lost, so I haven't had time, because come right straight back and I work on payroll so we can get paid. Important. So,
One of the things that I think we need to do as supervisors is hear Debbie in what her request is, but also from the side of those who are supposed to be responsible for the fiscal responsibility of taxpayers' money. There's a couple of issues here. One is, it's a better bang for the buck for the taxpayers to have a 40-hour-a-week employee than 32. The health insurance benefit is a difference of about $2.50 an hour. So somebody's getting $2.50 an hour more to work less hours. It's just not fiscally responsible to do that. The second issue is, Michelle has been asking for some time for an HR administrator in the county, somebody that does the paperwork, puts together interview questions, does the things that she really shouldn't be doing at $100 an hour. Where does that person come from? Debbie's office is payroll, and that is tied to personnel. I think it's a good match, at least for now, that her employee be that HR administrator. Michelle had said the position would be up to 10 hours some months as low as 2 or 3. So I don't think responsibly that we can consider anything less than the 40, especially with these extra duties that Debbie wants to put into that position. I think it'd be short-sighted, and I think
But I'd like to see the person cross-trained.
yeah.
I would too.
And that's
I'm very
another thing I
emphatic
want
about
to do,
that.
because right now, I'm the only one that does finance. A lot of it. Doug's side does, they know the accounts receivable side, not the payable side. Like, if I'm gone for 2 weeks, things just kind of sit there.
And that's not good.
And that's not good. They come back and I feel like I have to double time to catch up. Defeats the purpose of taking time off. I've done it, I'm getting tired. And I don't feel I'm giving the finance side of things the time it deserves. Because payroll is taking that. And I've got it down to a science. I've got it where it's fairly simple. But just having even someone to enter time cards and prove the time cards is huge. So it wouldn't even necessarily be half time. So just about, I guess the other point would be the person who's skilled. I mean, the person we hire. Someone out of high school, I'd like someone with a little experience in bookkeeping, working in an accounting office, somewhere that has a feel for it, not just high school, here you go. I mean, it's good, but that would take a lot of training for someone who doesn't know anything. I can train them like I want them, but that's maybe not necessarily a good thing either. Someone that's got a little ability to think on their own too.
Little initiative.
Little initiative. And tells me what to do every day, kind of defeats the purpose of someone with initiative. Like in high school, telling your kids what to do every day. It gets old after a while. So, those are my wishes.
So
But I'm willing to take anything at this
do you
point.
want to advertise out there?
Yeah, I mean, because internal can apply, but I think we need to go out more. With this, I think there needs to be a broader base than just what's in-house. I know people that have expressed interest, but there might be somebody out there that's better. I mean, I don't want to exclude anybody, but I want to make it fair. Put it that way.
Sure.
But if I go include inside and outside,
At once.
all at the same time, then I can't say I'm picking a favorite, or I have somebody groomed, or it's fair. Everybody's on an even playing field.
And that makes sense.
I mean, if we had somebody who'd been back training, I'd say, yeah, maybe, but I don't really have any of that. In the meantime, until we get that replacement, is it okay if claims go like every other week for pay, rather than every week like Tammy was doing? I'd try to bring them up too.
I don't have a
Because
problem
I
with
know,
that.
because somebody's gonna have to do some of them, especially at the end of the year coming up in 1099s and things for taxes, like we've gotta get what we can done for the end of the year on the December books.
What's Lisa do?
She helps a lot with the filing, making photocopies.
Can she do any of this?
I think she does more grunt work.
Yeah, it's more of the
I'm
grunt
sorry.
work. She doesn't do anything on the computer as far as having access to Black Mountain with entering claims. She doesn't know any of that. But it's just more the filing that I need her to do or help me make copies. She runs the mail. She'll help Tammy and I with the mail. But that's really about all in our office we've been able to have her do because a lot of it's computer oriented with our payroll program and accounts payable programs. So there hasn't been too much to give her outside of those menial tasks. And now that my filing's caught up, I don't use her a whole lot. Because I don't have a need. I don't have anything to give her.
And I don't mean to be disrespectful by saying grunt work, but
That's what it is.
I guess maybe a better word would be elementary work.
Well, it's the work that still needs to be done, whether Tammy or I did it. It's just like not our favorite. It's still gotta be done, no brainer, I guess. Our least favorite parts of our job. I don't know how else to explain. I mean, it's just
Well, I think
it's
maybe-
important, but not.
The
Favorite.
jobs that you and Tammy have been doing, take training, you go to, conferences to learn how to do it better, you've had, classes. There's a difference to pulling somebody in and just throwing this stuff at them. It takes time. You're in a position right now where you need somebody who's already had the classes, had the training, who can come in and just keep going with it. So I think
That'd be
that's the
nice.
difference.
A simple training on how to use this Black Mountain system, maybe. That's a given with any payroll system, but someone who's got a fundamental basis of accounting principles and stuff that Tammy and I had.
And we can't just give the job to somebody. It has to go through a process by law. So that's kind of not something we can do legally anyway, Franklin.
Is that person will take over the rest of these duties then?
Well, for sure do what Tammy's been doing. The goal would be to help pick up some of the payroll
I mean,
stuff.
there's other part-time help. What about it then?
I
You
don't
said
have
you don't-
any.
You said you don't have any work for her.
I don't have that much for her to do. Now, right now, I'm having her run the mail, just to kind of help me out in the mornings. But like, she came in and ran the mail, and I don't have anything, other than some filing of claims that Tammy didn't get done before she went over to Allison's. That won't take very long. The main thing is getting the payroll claims in, and then there's the postage, journals, doing the claims like for the airport. She worked out with Bob to do their claims as they come in. Predatory animal claims when there's money, some of those little odds and ends of things that she does every few months as tax revenue comes in.
Junk vehicle.
Junk vehicle's another one that, as people come in, have claims, and have to get that. New claims, new vendors, the 1099's gotta coordinate that and get them the paperwork.
There's a lot to be done on that job.
There's still a lot to be done on that too. And it's stuff, because Tammy and I've been doing it for so long, we just take it for granted. But really, when I think about all she does, there's a lot. There's a lot. So some of it's gonna, that's where I'm gonna have to juggle what has to be done versus what can kind of wait until we get a replacement. Shoot by the hip as it comes, because
So how,
every day's different.
how long do you intend to advertise for?
I think it needs to be 2 weeks.
At least.
To get decent candidates and give them time to get their job descriptions and their resumes and applications and things in, give them time to get it to job service so they can advertise it on their website or job service district sites. It's free, so I use them in government. And then usually that person, by the time we interview hire, they might want 2 weeks, so it's gonna be another 4 weeks. We've got 1099s, I'm gonna ask Tammy if she'll come in at least do 1099s at the end of the year. Since she's not going in till 10, to kind of help offset some of that if she will. I didn't get any training on the 1099s with Black Mountain last year, so I'm just stuck in the mud right now on that too, so I'm hoping she'll say okay. But it's a lot to do. I'm not gonna waste time.
I would throw a question, just personally, to all those applicants that you can make. I guess instead of beating around the bush, I'll just call spade a spade. I used to make them have to go to Helen and take a typing test or a 10-key test. I wasn't after their score.
Yeah.
I wanted to know that they'd go the extra mile.
And I think when I applied for the job, that was one of the things I had to go down, and he was in Judy's office, create an Excel sheet
Mm-hmm.
to run simple formulas. And I think that's something job service does, we wouldn't have to do it here.
Well, and it separates the men from the boys, so to
That's a
speak.
good idea,
You know,
I
I
didn't
mean,
think about that.
um, one lady I can still remember, I don't remember her face, I just remember, she brought it in, she said, here's my app. She said, I got everything, I've been so busy, I just didn't get the helmet to take the test. Thank you. Circular file for this one,
Yeah,
I mean,
they can't follow
you
some
wanna
rules, that's a
know.
good idea.
that they go the extra mile. And Elma's not that far away.
No. Forgot about that, thank you for reminding me of that.
I'm not trying to tell you how to run your job.
No, I totally forgot about that, but you're right, I had to take that as part of, when I applied, we were doing Excel. Had to take a word problem and create an Excel sheet to come up with. Only a couple of us
Mhm.
could do it. And take important, because there is a lot of,
Mhm.
thank you. I almost forgot about that.
Well, I hope you get somebody really outstanding.
We're gonna try.
That will be a help to you.
At least get the minimum to keep going.
Mhm.
I know it takes time. Tell somebody, I said, I want another me. I want. I don't know if I'll get that, but
If you figure out how to do that, let me know.
I know.
I need a triplet.
That'd be good to get somebody that works, you know, just kind of does what I know, and I don't have to worry about it, but I know that's not possible, but somebody that's kind of done it on the spot, that's not, knows what they're doing. Willing to take initiative. That's important.
Either one of you two have anything more to add?
That was what I already said.
I'll run some numbers.
Okay.
That and, I think I'm gonna start them at 14. A little lower than what Tammy was making, just to, depending on if I get somebody good, I mean, you know, but I think I'm gonna start about $14 an hour.
Yeah, depending on experience, that gives you a little leeway.
So there's a little leeway, they're really good.
Well, in
Versus
6
give
months
some
you can-
room.
bump them up
And
too.
then if they meet their probation and do really well, then there's some, so that will help with the budget too, side of things. And whatever month we don't have Tammy. So it might, I don't run the numbers, but I will.
So I think that the numbers are good to have, but I think you still need to get this advertised as soon as
Yeah,
possible.
I'll
It's
get
been a
advertised, and we'll
process.
make that kind of negotiable too. It'll depend on the applicant. We might find another one that says I can, but
I just don't know that all those things, including the HR administration, can get done in 32 hours.
no,
And
I don't think so.
without,
Unless they're whiz.
right,
It's gonna take a while before they're the whiz, so.
right, the training curve,
Mhm.
yeah.
And the HR stuff does take time to learn unless you've already got it. I mean, I did a lot of learning, reading as I went. Because there is a lot to it.
And there still is.
And with the personnel policy book and changes, that's gonna be it.
Mhm.
Tied to the MCAs, that's important for us anyway. I'll advertise 32 to 40 hours, maybe, depending on,
I will just say I'm very leery about the 32 because I think it's easier to hire somebody at 40 hours with the job description that we have than to advertise at 32 and then initially have that, well, we need you to do this extra HR administration, for example. Well, I applied for just 32 hours.
yeah, that's true too.
Then we're back to, okay, so what are we gonna do about this job that needs to get done and we have nobody who's able to do it or put in the time? If this person becomes a whiz and they get to the point where they can get everything done in 32 hours, it's a whole lot easier to work with them and reduce it
Yeah, that's true.
than it is to hire and then increase it. So I guess I
Yeah,
would say
that's
this
true.
is a
Like trying to
full-time
get Tammy
position.
to do more, it's kinda hard once you've got that 32 hours.
And it's less expensive for the county to have 40-hour employees than to have several 32s.
Let us know what you find out.
And is it good with the rest of the board if she goes ahead and gets this out there? To start
I
the
think she's gonna
process?
have to.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the time is of essence.
That part is,
Okay. Well, I think I can get a quick job so it can go on paper Thursday. And I'll give this week to get the application owned up so that when the paper comes out Thursday, his application's ready.
Perfect. The other thing too is we're asking this person to be cross-trained in the budget. That's gonna be a huge undertaking for somebody. Again, I don't think they can do everything in 32 hours if it includes cross-training.
I think it's important to cross-train.
I do too, I'm with you, I think it's better for the county that more people understand.
I always
Everybody's
use
doing it.
Big Mac truck syndrome. Somebody gets run over by a Big Mac truck, who's gonna do that job?
Right.
And that person took their knowledge with them.
Yeah. Well, they know Doug, when Rhonda left, they were kind of up in arms for a
Mhm.
while. So I think they're doing more of that over there. Like I told Doug, I'd like to learn his side more, but finding the time to do his side, yeah.
Well, I don't think we're being fair to the
But-
public
No.
if we don't cross-train. I
And
really
that's why,
don't.
you know, I could be looking at needing a little bit of leave of absence with my mom
Mhm.
here in a few months, weeks. It'd be nice to have somebody know that somebody's here trying to
Mhm.
pick up. Otherwise, it's just, I'm really having a hard time. I feel like I need to be with my mom versus my job. My job's important, so is family, so,
Well, let's get it advertised.
so, I'll get
Go
on
from
it.
there.
Yeah, no filling out. Okay, I'll get on it.
Okay.
Payroll's about done for the day, so
And
My
any help
grid
you need from
checks.
us, we'll have your help.
that'll be easy. Oh, okay. That's all I have.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yeah, fun. Worry about the snow. We got a lot of snow at my house. Wasn't sure I was gonna get out of the road. So,
Really?
yeah,
How was the highway?
not too bad, but you could tell there was a lot of snow that they plowed off. It was icy. But we had a lot of drifts, not only on the ones on the county road, but then our little subdivision. Because not everybody takes care of their road, and so we had a lot of weeds, a lot of drifts, so. I wasn't sure I was gonna get here this morning, so I don't know,
We had
it's gonna be fun.
3 semis, double trains loaded to go to hay this morning. And they were going, they called and said, you know, we got 6 to 8 inches, you best not come today. And it was drifting, so.
Yeah, that little spot right where we are, just a little hole, we get it. So, my dad's watching it, and see. Everybody stayed home, that was a stupid one. Venture to work, it was kind of fun, so hopefully it will settle down. But that's what we get for living here, so. Okay.
Thanks, Debbie.
Do you want me to bring claims up? The sign? Or do you wanna wait another week?
What's your
To me,
choice?
yours to me. That would work out for you, I guess, right at this point.
Well, if they're signed, I can start working on them.
Okay,
That would
and
be
bring them
fine
up.
by me.
I'll bring them up. I can bring them up, I forgot.
Well, and I don't have a problem with going every other week with those.
Until we get somebody hired.
Mhm.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay. I know if we get one big hoorah, last one for the end of the year, I'll send out a memo, let everybody know that, because we're short. Yeah, claims that need paid by December, get them in now, please. Okay, I'll bring them up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
Not for me, no. Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you.
You know, good old Jeremy, who scheduled and scheduled and scheduled, and certainly fails to show up.
No, not good.
We got a Christmas card from WWC Engineering. Alan?
Were you referring to Representative Zinke's
Yes.
field representative? I understand he doesn't like to show up very much. Is that pretty much what you guys are kind of backing up? I heard
I haven't seen
it's
it,
a heck of a deal.
I haven't seen him for quite a while.
right? Yeah.
He schedules, but
Does he ever give a reason why he doesn't show up?
I haven't heard one.
He's just a no-show.
Unless, if he shows up downstairs, which that's one thing he's going to do, but he might do, but I don't know, I have no idea.
We're getting mail from that certain church again. I have a file down here, it's called circular file.
Yeah.
Yes. Here is for NACO's convention. And it costs some places $1,000 per person to go. I think there's about that too.
That's the legislative conference. I think it's important Montana is well represented through our association.
Stewart Magazine, Bureau of Land Management. If anybody wants to read it. Oh my gracious. Look at the crowd.
Wow.
Is that my
What was going on with that big?
Sturgis motorcycle thing?
Oh, okay, yeah. I watched it on TV or something.
I came through there. My brother Chuck was doing his residency at Sioux Falls, South Dakota, so Lisa and TJ and I went and saw him, came back. Foolish me, comes back right in the middle of it all.
Oh, man.
Thought, whoa.
Does the highway go right through town or they got a bypass or?
No, it was right through town,
Right through town?
at that time.
Yeah.
And what do we have here?
That's more of the DLL, which is the issue that we need to talk to Cody about.
Okay. I'll leave that to him, grab him.
I should give you this to with it. That's the most recent.
Okay. Payroll in the amount of $169,622.16.
I make a motion to pay payroll for the state of it.
Second, sorry.
So moved and seconded to pay payroll in the amount of $169,622.16. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Thank you.
We have claims in the amount of $29,419.21.
To pay the approved claims in said amount.
Council.
Moved and seconded, pay claims, amount of $29,419.21. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Thank you.
I have minutes from December 7th, 2015.
Move to approve as submitted.
I don't think I got those.
They were sent.
I got mine.
Well, I didn't, it was a Friday, I don't think I'm sure it did. Yeah, let me.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm not saying that, I don't recall it at all. Oh, maybe it's.
You're welcome. Okay. Miss Shelby was on TV the other day. Look at that.
She's a good kid.
She is quite a kid.
Mm-hmm.
She and another girl walked on, and one goes like this, over here. Then he's, what he was saying. So she went over here behind. Then she had one of those red Solo cups, and I can't do what, but I mean,
Oh.
she had some sort of, it wasn't a ritual, but almost like a rap song or something with it.
Yeah. Yeah, she's quite a girl. And Flint is a great dad.
At one point he said, yeah, I think people think that I might be dealing drugs because we're never home, we've got a nice house. Okay, and I'd entertain a motion then on the minutes.
Be so move.
Franklin? I'll second the minutes, but I wasn't here, so,
You can still vote, but you can't make the motion.
right. Yes, we move to second to approve minutes of December 7th, 2015. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same.
No.
What was Cory checking with the Teamsters about insurance issues? What was that?
Brenda and I, 2 weeks ago, both thought that the health insurance specifics shouldn't be in the CBA. So last week, the CBA was presented again with the health insurance information in there. So he was gonna check again about taking that out. And we should meet with him again today on that, and get that signed.
And Doug Ellis, on SOS responsibilities?
He called the Secretary of State, or OPI, on that, OPI, and they had said it was a more of an audit form that he had brought forward, but he does need to address the superintendent issue, so he is working on that, putting together a proposal. He's going to look for advertising for somebody who'd be interested in a contract.
And what did he tell us about protested taxes?
I don't remember any specifics, like numbers. Do you, Ann?
And I think it's getting pretty well resolved, if I remember correctly.
In my notes. I don't know.
Anything else for the good of the order?
Yes, I would like to, either have a, note sent to Cooley or to talk to Cooley about that DLL issue with Department of Admin. And I'd also like to ask him to come in regarding the CBA. We can hopefully get that signed.
We can do that right now?
All right.
I have something else too. Those minutes of the December 7th closed door meeting are completely wrong.
All it said there was, he said,
Hmm?
I didn't see where it said anything about the closed door.
Yeah, do you get the minutes from the closed door meeting?
Oh, I'm talking about those minutes.
Madam Chair, I would be uncomfortable about talking about minutes about a closed door session in an open meeting.
Makes sense. Okay, do you wanna, one of you girls wanna see if Cory's available, please?
While we're waiting for Cory, this was given to us last week from Department of Health and Human Services. They also sent an email that they will, regardless of the administration of public health, continue to provide WIC services. These are just some notes of other like-sized counties and what their structure is. And all it
Can I
is,
have these?
yeah, absolutely. All it is, we met with DPHHS and are discussing how to optimize what we're offering in the way of public health at a potentially lower cost. So it's just fiscal responsibility and answering the needs of our citizens as efficiently and completely as we can.
How many counties statewide are connected to the hospital?
I think there's 7, there's a graph in there that shows.
Cory is not available right now, and Wendy is not sure when he will be available.
Okay.
Do we have anything on this afternoon?
Nope. Well, we do have a training Wednesday morning at 8 on the personnel policies, but that's it, we're done.
John?
There is an issue that's just come up this morning, which has been going on for a long, long time, about the banding order. And the banding order is apparently, my hearing on it is next Monday at 11:30, allowing me a half hour. Are you aware of it?
No, I'm not.
Corey requested that this morning, it is actually. on the
Yeah,
agenda.
maybe you were here yet with Corey, yeah.
Okay, with that said, I have some requests or demands that when we have this meeting, which I need to know who you will have there representing the executive officers, all three of you, which you are executive officers. And the issue of this document needs to be, I want the original, not original copy, but the original document brought forth, laid on the desk so I can read it or have it read to me.
Now, what document are we talking about, John?
The banding order. That is the issue. I have done everything I could do to find out, even including talking to Laura and to Corey and whoever else about bringing forth the original, not a copy. Now, I've been served 4 times. The original copy. I want the original.
Okay,
Okay, that's very simple. To start out the meeting, that must be put on the table.
just a second, I want to take some notes.
Excuse me?
Just a minute, I want to write this down.
Okay, sorry. I can't hear any better than I can see.
I hear you there. Okay, next.
The next request is that this room is a judicial courtroom. And you are executive officers. And this hearing cannot be held in here legally or under constitutional law. We have a constitutional county under the original constitutional law, which is the constitutional republic, constitutional law. Now, there's only one, and that's what we have here in our county, authorized by the majority of the voters. I request and/or demand that we hold their meeting downstairs in our proper room. 2 reasons. One is you have admiralty flags in here, and this is a courtroom. The bench, it is the improper place for the commission to be holding anyways. I don't know why you don't like our little room down there. I loved it. I thought it was the best thing going.
What is an
What's that?
What is an admiralty flag?
Admiralty. It's a military flag. That's the one with the flange on it. Our American flag up there is halfway right, the other one is wrong. That's an admiralty flag. It's got a flange. And it did have instead of the bald eagle, which neither one does, which is our legal flag, it has a golden eagle, which is military. Okay? Now, if you go to the courthouse in Helena, you won't find anything but admiralty flags all the way through, the state flags and the American flag. All right, that bothers me. I'm ex-military myself. I've spent quite a time in the Navy, and I've lived under the rule of military law. And I'll tell you what, that's tough for this little farm away. But anyway, downstairs is the correct place. And I should see no problem of doing this. Or has the room been changed?
No,
Is it
hasn't
still like it
changed.
was?
Yes.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Nothing's
Thank you.
changed.
Can I get a yay or nay
I want to talk to Corey first.
on the right to move to the regular room that belongs there? Okay, thirdly, I want to know who will be representing you, because this document comes from you two, Elaine and Laura. Elaine and Laura. I think Mr. Slifka receded from it or didn't vote for it. I want to know who it will be representing you. Because as you put me on trial for this document, I will put you on trial. Constitutionally. Now, I want you to bring whatever documentation you can do to show that this is a legal constitutional document. I believe from my analyzations, it is a document only could be rendered forward under British parliamentary law. So is Carla's gag order blocking me from being able to record things in the clerk of the records? I want that issue brought forward with it. I'd like to see Corey, but Corey says he won't be there. So who will you use to represent you?
This is the first I've heard of it this morning, John, so we haven't even had a chance to.
I know, but
talk.
this
I
is
don't
the
have a
first
clue.
time I'll get to see you at one-on-one until we have the meeting, and then it's like, well, I didn't know, or I didn't hear, or I wasn't aware, and yet the procedure will go on. One way or the other, Monday, it'll either be executed legally, or it'll be thrown out Monday. That's what I've been trying to get it done for, since it was implemented. Now, the official bearer of the attorney was Nicholas Murrin. You authorized him to come forward. He's never recorded his oath of office in this county, so legally he has no voice. Just like our Mr. Reynolds, Mr. James Reynolds. He recorded his oath of office here in the county, and he made his peace with the law. And we've had that discussion. And Nicholas, even with, I demanded, I've made a citizen arrest on him. And he laughs at it. Like, I'm above it all? Well, nobody's above the law, and there's no reason to be ignorant of the law. And I think that I would like for you to bring him forward at this meeting. Is this possible?
I don't know, until I can talk to the rest
Okay.
and call him.
This is,
This all had me.
okay.
This is not going to be a trial on Monday. This is a hearing.
I am on trial. And it's in the case of the trial that I'm in. It's in it. So it's all been put together, and that's my doings, along with the other things. This issue must be addressed as it is an action receding or going to an action, which is the action taking care of me. And you are a witness against me. In fact, all four of you are witnesses. Now, I want to set that aside because that's another issue. The issue right now is the banning order and the gag order. Okay? And it would be nice to know that you are prepared to bring forth the documents that I've just requested. Your authority under constitutional law, U.S. of A. Constitution, not state statutory. So call it the Constitution. This is a constitutional county. And I think probably all of us voted to maintain it that way. Leastwise, I know I did. That's the only one I can swear to. But majority of the voters did vote to maintain status quo of constitutional form of government. Now, at this meeting, I would like to clear it up one way or the other, or remove it, because it's been an inconvenience not only for me, but for the majority of the voters that I've talked to in this county that likes and have supported the constitutional form of government, as well as due process of the law. The law, I want you to come up with the rhyme and reasons how you two and Nicholas and Carla could implement such a document against everything in the Constitution and Bill of Rights and the 10 Amendments. Everything. It smashes it. And if you do a little bit of research on constitutional and you look at this, you will understand where I'm at. And under the case that I have filed in the United States Court of Appeals, case 93-7021, I have clarified through Denny Rehberg in the court and the Congress the act of treason. So be very careful. I have not pressed this against anybody as of this point, but I have that authority because it's been freed as a custodian of the law in the case. There is no counsel other than me, if you've read through it and looked at it.
What next do you have on your list, John?
Primarily is to bring forth your proof, your evidence constitutionally to support this, and the original, and some sort of representative that I can speak to them through you, if you would. Preferably, I'd like to have Corey. But Nicholas, he's the one that inspired it. He's the one that wrote, he's the one that knows all what he knows. And he won't talk. He won't commit. So have Nicholas here and whatever else you think you need. And I will be as resplendent as I possibly can be, and I will, probably the sheriff's department will be there, even though I don't need to be guarded. Never any one individual ever in this county has been touched by a pinky, little end of that finger. And you know that very well. You've been around here all these years. And I'd like to have my due time addressing this monstrous piece of legislation that was done by you executive officers, executive, implementing a judicial law and having the sheriff to approve it. That's why we have courtrooms. And we don't belong in this courtroom, we belong downstairs in our room, a citizen's room.
Okay, is that it then, John?
That's it, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Brenda, who was in the wreck out here the other day? Kender and who else?
I don't know who the kid was.
A head-on, was it?
Can you tell us if they're all right, Brenda?
Are we adjourned or?
No.
They're both still alive, that's all I can tell you.
Okay.
I know Ken had surgery yesterday.
Are these locals?
One of them
I almost had my wreck on the sidewalk out front, slick.
We put that down, we just.
Madam Chair, did you want to keep us in session to go through these?
No, we can adjourn. Yes.
Okay. You want a motion or you just?
Hmm?
You want a motion, Gary, or you just want to?
Doesn't take.
Oh, yeah, sure. Brent.